Thank you very Mochi.
By Paul Matsushima, Sophie Wang, and Craig Ishii. Story concept by Paul Matsushima and illustrated by Jing Sheng.
Can you name each one? To the generations before who taught us these lessons, and to the generations after who will carry them on. Every December, Kimi's family woke up bright and early to go to their family Mochi. Time to get up, Kimi heard from downstairs. We're going to Grandpa and Grandpa's. Kimi popped out of the covers. Yummy mochi, here I come, she yelled as she jumped out of bed. As the family buckled up for a long drive, Kimi's mom asked, "What's the first thing you're going to do when we get there, Kimi?" "I'm going to make the biggest mochi ever," Kimi said. "And I want to put shoyu on it and furikake and red beans." Kimi's family finally arrived, but as they walked up to the house, Kimi noticed that something was wrong. Grandma was holding the front door open, the uncles and aunts were rushing in and out of the kitchen, and the cousins were fanning smoke out of the windows. "What's happening?" Kimi asked. "The mochi machine is broken," yelled Grandma as Kimi and her parents rushed into the house. Kimi's face fell. "Does that mean Mochitsuki is canceled?" she worried. Just then, they heard a voice from the backyard yell, "Out here!"
It was Grandpa. "Follow me," he said, gesturing towards the garage. "Our machine may be broken, but I have something better." As the family headed over, Kimi wondered, "But how can you make mochi without a machine? I sure hope this works." Grandpa pointed to a stone bowl and a few wooden mallets in the corner as the family squeezed into the garage. "When I was little, this piece of rock and these hunks of wood were all we had to make our mochi with," he said, chuckling. "Can we really make our mochi with those?" Kimi asked doubtfully. "Of course we can," Grandpa replied. "Help me move everything to the backyard and I'll show you just how we'll do it." The Mochitsuki tools were heavy, but everyone did their part. The cousins lugged the wooden mallets, while it took all the aunties and uncles to carry the giant stone bowl. Grandpa led the parade with a samuji in hand, explaining how to set everything up. Grandma handed Kimi the pot of mochi gome. "You gotta carry a very important ingredient, Kimi. After all, you can't make mochi without the rice," she said, smiling. "Okay, I'll be careful," Kimi giggled. Outside, Grandpa picked up one of the tall mallets. He leaned over to Kimi and said, "The last time I used I made mochi this way, this kine was told me." "Kine?" Kimi asked. "Aw, yes. Kine are the mallets we use to pound the mochi," Grandpa said. "My father told me to remember it this way. The kine are skine, like skinny. Get it?" "I can't believe I haven't used these since I was a boy," he chuckled. Kimi giggled. She couldn't imagine Grandpa's little kid. As they set up the stone bowl, Grandpa explained, "The mochi is pounded in this bowl called an uzu. Remember this as super heavy. In my day, we didn't have fancy mochi making machines. If we wanted to eat mochi, we had to work all day long for it," he continued. "Whoa, all day?" Kimi thought. She never realized how easy she had it. "Now we pound the rice," Grandpa said. "My father taught me that we count off in Japanese to make sure no one gets hurt. Ichi, ni, san, shi. Ichi, ni, san, shi," the four cousins yelled as they took their turn. Ichi, ni, san, shi, Kimi and Grandpa shouted as they took their turn. "Wow," Kimi thought as her arms started to tire. "This is a lot of work. Good thing everyone is here to help." On to the next step, Grandma said, sending the family inside to mold, stuff, and package the mochi. Kimi stayed with Grandpa to pound the last batches. As wood from the kine started to flake into the rice, she asked, "Should I take these wood chips out?" Grandpa chuckled, wiping sweat from his brow. No. As my father always said, the wood flakes and sweat are where the flavor comes from." As the sun set, Kimi looked inside, eyes wide at all the mochi they had made.
You know, Kimi, there's one ingredient we couldn't have made this mochi without, Grandpa said. Can you guess what it is? The rice, Kimi asked. Grandpa shook his head. The kine and the usu? The shoyu and red beans? Grandpa shook his head. If it's not the rice or kine and yusu or the shoyu and red beans, what is it? Kimi asked. Family. Kimi thought about Grandpa's answer. She looked around. She thought about how close she felt with her whole family after working alongside them. She thought about the joy of everyone being together every year. Without family, there would be no mochisuki. Family really was the most important ingredient. You know, Kimi, it doesn't matter what kind of tools we use to make mochi, Grandpa said softly. It's about doing it together. My family passed that lesson on to me, and I hope one day you will pass it on to your family too. Kimi hugged Grandpa. Okay, Grandpa, I will. After cleaning up, Kimi and Grandpa went back inside. Kimi grabbed a piece of warm, soft mochi and smiled at all the people in the room. After a long day of working together, she had a greater appreciation, not just for mochisuki, but for her family. What will you do to carry on Grandpa's message for the next generation?